All right, we're going to set up a laser file for our storage sign using Photopea, which is photopea.com. And whenever it loads, it'll take you to this website. And what we're going to do is create a file that will allow us to put a black and white image on it in order to laser engrave our front piece. So if you know that your size of your front piece is different, you want to make sure that you change your file size as we move forward here. But for the most part, everybody's should be, according to their checkpoint, it should be 6 3/4 or 6.75 by 12 1/4, 12.25. So we're going to come up to File, or you can also hit it in the center and hit New. And we're going to change this to Print. And Photopea doesn't automatically change this stuff up here unless you click on one of these. So if you click on one, it'll change your settings up here, like changing your DPI. And that's what's important. We want to keep our DPI high, 256 to 300. That's dots per inch, right? And we're going to change our width and height to our actual file size, which is in width, that's 12.25. And our height is 6.75. And then we're just going to name our project our last name, space, engraving. And then you're just going to hit create there. If you need to go back, you can go ahead and just jump back, and then you'll be able to see those settings once more. So our front piece is this entire white space, and the way that the laser engraver works is it takes anything that is black and white, and then it will engrave it. So you want to stay away from things that are like grayscale whenever you think of like a black and white image. If you want a full-on picture, there is another process to that I will link in a separate video. But if you just want something like a logo or something like that, then you want to look for black and white, meaning two colors only, not moving into gray or anything like that. If there is gray, that just means that the laser is going to be lighter in those parts. So it may turn out, it may not. You tend to get poor results without setting up that image unless it is black and white only. Okay, so you can grab any image you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just look up the Pittsburgh Penguins logo. And at the end, I'm just going to put black and white. So I just searched Pittsburgh Penguins black and white, and then I'm going to switch over to images. Right, so I can then select any one of these. So if you are considering an image, you want what you want engraved in black. So this is the opposite of what we want, because this will engrave everything around except what's in white. So we don't want to do that because we'll end up having some rectangles up here and then just our logo. So instead of that, we want something like this, black on white. You also want to make sure that your image is nice and crisp. You don't want anything that's like super pixelated, stuff like that, right? So I'll just right-click this image right here, and you can save it if you want, or you can come over here to copy image. So not copy link address, but copy image, and then jump over to Photopea. Two ways of pasting here. You can go up to edit and then paste, and then hit allow. Right, and then it'll let you drag it around if you have this move tool selected, right? And you can move it to wherever you want, and you can say, okay, that red line pops up and that red line pops up. That means that that image is centered on your file, right? So if you wanted to center it, you can do it that way. If you want to make this smaller, you'll have to come up to Edit, Transform, Scale, and then you can drag it in from the corners, but notice it lets you stretch this all over the place. So whenever you're dragging it, you want to hold Shift and then it'll keep it in the same proportions. So if you don't want it so large, or if you want it larger, whenever you resize it, hold Shift and drag from the edges. Right? So I'll go ahead and hit Enter, and it'll drop that down. And I'm just going to make sure that this is centered again by moving it. We get that red line. And then I'm just going to move it around until both red lines pop up. There we go. And now that image is centered. All right. And you can add as many images as you want. You know, you can go through. If you, again, wanted to do something like an image, I would recommend finding an image that is relatively large and, you know, has a lot of detail. This one, while this picture is in black and white, would not engrave very well. You wouldn't be able to see much. You have to run it through a different process, right? And that link will also be in Schoology. So maybe you want, instead of the Penguins, you want the Steelers as well. So we'll find a Steelers logo that is black and white, right? Notice I left that black and white. You can also use things like clip art, right? So Google will suggest different things, right? If you wanted something like this, you know, you could do that. Something like this, while this is black and white, technically, right? That grayscale, not going to show up very well. So you want to find, you know, things like this. So I'll go ahead and right click that, copy image, and then you edit, paste, or hit Control V, right? So this is a little bit smaller. I'll go to edit, transform, scale, and we can make it a little bit larger. Hold Shift as you drag it out, right? And if you drag this, that red line that comes across the image, that's saying that it is even in the middle to this image, right? And the page. So I'll hit Enter to drop it. All right, so now we got Steelers, Penguins. Let's get a Pirates logo real quick. We'll do Pittsburgh Pirates. All right, we'll get a, we'll get a Pirates P in there. Right click, copy image. Control V. Oops. All right, pasted that there. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to edit, transform scale. All right, and I'll hit enter. All right, so now we have three. It looks like I cut that off a little bit. So if you need to move something after you drop it, right, it looks like it's cutting that off. So if that happens, your layers over here. So this is the Penguin layer. This is the Steeler layer. This is the Pirates layer. You can go ahead and grab the eraser tool, or you can hit E, eraser tool, and make our brush larger. And you can go ahead and just erase where it's covering. All right. So that is a good file. What we're going to do from here is upload it to Schoology. So I'll go ahead and go to File, Export As, and we're going to export it as, we'll do a PNG. Right, and that's going to give us a high quality. You want to make sure this quality is all the way up, and go ahead and hit save. So if you named it, it'll download it to your computer with that file name already, and whenever you open it up, right, you should have, right, your drawing, and that'll be ready to go to engrave on your board. All right, so you'll upload that to Schoology. So you want to go ahead and open or log into Schoology and upload it to this week's assignment. Good luck. If you have any questions, let me know.